Hello, it's Thursday and this is Bad Blood. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing.
All right, good. Tonight we're going to be talking my favorite subject of all of Bad Blood, the rules of the game. We're going to go over the player packet and all the good things that go along with that. So that being said, let's introduce everybody. Buck, how you doing?
I am doing well, everyone. How are you doing?
All right, can't complain. And
Glad to
AWOL,
hear.
what's going on?
Hello, hello.
I'll make sure we got everything started. Yeah, all right. Hopefully we won't have any problems with the stream today and we'll have the chat working. So so
I will be on
and
it. If anybody's having issues, please feel free to message me on any of the social medias that we are on. I do have my phone here, so I will see it quickly.
awesome. All right. So player packet, player packet, player packet. Everybody's read it, well, or will read it, when they buy their tickets. So I'm
Or should
confident
have
that
read it already.
everyone's going to know all the rules that has to do with Bad Blood. But let's go from an easy standpoint because Buck generally, as a tribal leader, as much as you are an antagonist to all the players out there, you're pretty much in charge of your area. You got to
Yep.
oversee everything and making sure nobody's being that guy. What's your favorite rule that just cannot be followed by anybody?
Favorite rule that cannot be
Yeah,
followed by
the one that
anybody?
everyone's like, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know."
That's a toughie. Um, don't shoot the guys in red shirts.
I've accepted
Is
that.
one of my funniest ones. Because that's the one I have to very frequently do. The most recurring rule that I probably have to deal with
Yeah.
is people overshooting or just continuing to just shoot dead players. As much as we get a million BBs flying, there are like those times in the day where like the sun's starting to get hot, everybody's starting to get a little spicy, and then we just kind of go like, hey, maybe don't just hold down the trigger for 25 seconds and empty your box mag. Just a thought.
So, also considering that tribals have a slightly different respawn rule. We will get to spawning and triage and stuff. You guys have a different respawn than your rank and file players. How do you guys combat, meat shielding and stuff?
Honestly, with the way that the tribal respawn works, and for those of you watching that are unfamiliar with what tribal respawn is, for all of the tribal members, whenever you guys shoot us, we have about a 3 to 5 minute downtimer, depending on how active the scene is and how crazy things are getting. We walk out of the line of sight and we walk away from you guys as far as we can, so we're not just going to come back and just roll your ass. And then we wait for a couple seconds, wait till everybody's cleared out, and we make sure there's at least 30 seconds where people don't go, and then we yell, "Tribal respawn!" In which, if you did not hear me, know that I'm coming. And if you did hear me, well, you should be afraid, because there's going to be BBs rolling at you very shortly. So occasionally we get some people that get a little bit confused by the tribal respawn, not realizing that we're kind of like the civilian faction, so to speak, but also the objectives. So we have to play it a little bit differently. Few people get a little upset, but after we go over and talk to them, it usually smooths over rather quickly. But mostly it's finding a way to get out of the line of sight of the mass, because as you said, meat shielding is a very real thing. You guys come up in forces, and we are not like the big groups that you guys have. Our faction is split up all amongst the field, so we don't have the luxury of just kind of death balling up like you guys do, and we gotta find a way around.
Now, I'm going to get to you in a second. Well, don't worry. Last year, I don't know if you remember, in your general area, Buck, there was that problem of a CO basically being pinned down. Right?
Yes, that was a
So
mess. I had to
absolutely, that was a
unfuck.
mess. But that being said, like, if the tribals can't get out of the way, like, I'm not saying teams should strive to kind of pin tribals down. They should give you a
Please
leeway to
don't.
get out of the scene, right?
Yeah, giving us like, if you know we're dead, we've all got our dead rags on, and you see us like clustered in a group, there's like a 50-50 chance we realize that we're probably not going to get into this fight because of how many of you guys are there, and we are 50-50 chance either going to stay out of it or wait until y'all leave.
Right. So
like if it gets too hectic in the area, we got to make sure we don't contribute to people staying. Like this is an objective game and we got to push you guys around. So if you're in an area that's already been taken, I'm gonna stay out of the fight for a second to coerce you to, go away.
Yeah, pinning tribals down so you can kind of, control an area to search for your objective. That's that's whole game in the game, and
Yeah,
some red shirt is going to come up on that scene real quick and make sure that this ends, because it's got to be fair to everybody. The
absolutely.
tribals have their job. Hey, tribals have their
Speak of
job to do, but
the
it's still
dirty
your
devil that
game to
got
play.
stolen.
So, all right, AWOL, as a CO for a faction, what is the one thing that you find yourself hammering at the most?
I got two.
Okay.
And that's, we show up and we normally, we take over Chrono and we push out as quickly as possible. And the fact that there's no gun classes, that's a huge one. The rules are stated, the FPS is there. We're not there to tech your guns or adjust them to get them at a regulated rate. And
Right.
there's no gun classes. Like there are people that come up constantly with, a DMR class. No, that's not a thing. That player packet does not have gun classes. Like, you're just a rifleman. Like, keep pushing. And full seal iPro. You think you look cool out there with your Pit Vipers without your Halo kits in there, but you look dumb without an eye. So I was it 2 years ago, I think I had guys with Pit Vipers and no Halo kits.
Yeah.
Right before the game start, and I was like, no, get off the field. Like, no, you're done. Get off the field. Like, this isn't a joke. Like, safety's, you kind of ruin the game if you lose an eye. So
Real.
those
and
are my two.
that goes for you guys out there with the Oakley M frames. Remember your gaskets, please. You guys are not getting away with it. I will be inspecting you guys directly this year.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing I do is, I walk through and, I introduce myself, go over, what's going to go on. And then I walk through and I make sure people have iPro, appropriate iPro. Yeah. Like, you're missing a Halo kit. Like, sorry, go get one. You don't have a Halo kit, go buy some goggles. Like, safety's more important than looking cool.
Absolutely.
I'd rather you spend the $20 over at AMP to get yourself a pair of Pyramex glasses and, make sure you're not losing an eye, rather than you go, oh, my Oakley M frames, oh, it's my XYZ that I bought on Amazon that's, $20 chintzy, or your mesh goggles, which we do unfortunately still see from time to time. Those are not okay, guys. Yeah. Mesh is not going to save your eyes. It's not going to save your face. You're going to get shot through it.
I've seen mesh goggles fresh out of the box take a hit and start to shrapnel. No, not the BB, the metal.
It's scary because it's terrible pop metal, guys. It's like you think it's going to save you. You think it's going to protect you. Like, oh, I'm not going to fog. Like, that's not an issue. Like, it is. You guys got to be worried about it. You got to take care of your health and take care of yourself before this game comes up. Because if you can't be healthy and alive and, have your eyes, you can't play a game where it relies on your sight.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Mark, as another rival CEO, what's the one thing that you see when you're out there that your players, the rule they keep breaking? They haven't learned. They can't get it right. Whatever.
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
That's right, because Black and Tans know how this shit does. So no, I mean, obviously you've got Todsky out there who's always making sure everybody's drinking, more water than they could possibly need. So, hydration is always is a key, but like, there's nothing you found in your years with Marxists and Black and Tans that they just can't follow the rules. You haven't had to hammer them for anything.
No, I haven't. Well, it's only been like 3 years, but I haven't had anything that's been anything I had to really hammer on anybody for.
Good. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear teams that are actually doing it right and they're out there to play it the way they should be playing it. So got a couple graphics here. Let's bring these up real fast. I've got the quick reference sheets that are the second and third page of the player packet that everyone has read. So it says everything we need to know. Oh, that's the schedule. We're not worried so much about the schedule.
Not the right page today.
Yeah, there we go. Key rules. FPS. What I always get it wrong. What does Virtue always say? FPS is
A limit, not a
The
goal.
limit, not a
Thank
goal.
you. Thank you. Limit, not a goal. Yeah. So because AWOL was absolutely right. There is no rifle classes for Bad Blood. NYC Airsoft does not recognize the existence of the DMR. If your gun can go full auto, it's a rifle. That's all that matters to us. So 1.55 joules with our field supplied BBs, and for bolt action only sniper rifles, 2.8 joules with field supplied BBs. You have plenty of time now to get a chrono and figure your stuff out, do any tuning you need to do. There's no reason anybody should be showing up game day with something that is not going to pass. We see it all the time. Buck, what do you see most often at chrono?
That fails. Normally, I'm seeing a lot of guys coming in there with their completely tacked out HPA kits. A lot of times that are having to come up that are forgetting their Allen key set to adjust their regulator pressure. We are a tourney lock event, guys. Remember your tourney lock stuff. If you are worried about the pressure even a little bit or think it might be off, bring your kit. It takes us 5 seconds up there, and the HPA guys that are working on the chrono line will take the second to work with you to get it up and running quicker, rather than having to hold your spot, wait for you to come back when you've got everything, assuming you don't take 30 minutes to go back and get your stuff from your car.
Sounds about right. All right, cool, good. I mean, we could hammer on all day long about just regular safety. I don't think that's really necessary. The basic rules of the game. While Bad Blood is a unique event in today's airsoft of the area, the rules are pretty much basic airsoft rules. I mean, we got the no blind firing, no mouse hole firing, no nothing that is clearly going to be a dangerous thing. Players love that castle. They love the structures, which is great. The structures really can make a game. It's wonderful. But we
Especially
always
in the
say,
rain.
don't shoot up between the slats of the wood. Don't shoot down between the slats of the wood, because that's going to hurt somebody.
Wow.
That's going to hurt bad. And, you're going to make a lot of people very unhappy, and your day's going to be over. And I don't like having to do that. It's one thing I've only had to throw out since we've been at EMR. I think I've only had to throw out 3 people. So I don't want to make it 4, just don't be like that,
No reason to add to the tally marks.
Yeah. No flash grenades inside buildings, no smoke at all. I'm pretty sure the no smoke rule is forever now. So no smoke. Doesn't matter if it's actually sports smoke is gone, aren't they? Pretty sure sports smoke is gone. But yeah, so no EG smokes, so don't even worry about it. And no aerial 40 mics. That's it, Everything else, you're pretty much good to go. I don't see why it's a problem. But every year we get people who want to they want to push that boundary. It drives me nuts. So I don't know. Yeah, like I said, we can go on and on and on. Let's talk about something a little more fun. The question that I hate all year long. Does this look okay? It's very simple. The teams are actually pretty simple. Black and tans, black shirt, tan pants. Very, very easy. I'll even show it again. Very easy. Green's Army with AWOL. Green-based camos. This list you're looking at. This is not definitive. This is the most commons you're going to see out there. But any green is fine. Any woodland style camo is fine. and then of course Deus Ex is limited to
Very transitional camos.
yeah, but only these 4. This, we had to put that line in the sand because we were getting people who are just playing the game and skirting things around. You got your classic multicam, got the ATEX, IX, and Cryptic Mandrake. That's it. If you don't have one of those 3 patterns,
What
wear
about white?
It's easy. Yeah, it's
Yes,
and-
come dressed like a singular
Yeah,
drop
Just
of
a
lights.
white bed sheet.
White bed.
ooh.
I didn't go there.
The headgear has to match though, so let's not do that. But
That is a risky joke.
I even forget where I was going to go with that now. Oh wow, I completely lost it. That was good. I
Careful if you
appreciate
see a
that.
wizard out on the field.
Oh no, okay, yeah, that reminds that I've seen those. You've seen the camo wizard hats, right? Those things are great. They're absolutely great. Yeah, anybody who's playing on Deus Ex, they're coming prepared. So like, what Deus Ex is all about, because everybody knows that until it gets wet, multicam is invisible. So that's how you win. Just don't go in the wet parts. You just huddle up around the Tipman town in the middle of the field, and nobody can see you all day long. So there's nobody here to argue. So
I think previous year's suggestions were to bring tape, if nothing else, to cover up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you're on Green's Army and you've only got a black helmet, get some green duct tape, cover it up, get some scrim, something like that. Same thing with Deus Ex. If all you've got is a green helmet, throw some splotches of tan on there and try and break it up a little bit. But I mean, helmets, I get it. It's a little hard for us to say, hey, this thing you spent good money on, this doesn't fly. We'll figure that out. But yeah, make sure to do your best. You got 2.5, almost 3 months until the game. I don't see any reason why anyone should show up not prepared. That's just me. I show prepared. You guys show prepared. I think everybody else should.
And if you need help preparing, this is what we have these live streams and Discord communities and the Facebook communities for, guys. If you guys have questions, ask. We were all had our first bad blood ones. We all asked stupid questions once. It's okay.
Yeah,
you ask a dumb question so we can have you ready on game day rather than
I honestly don't mind the repeated questions that I see all the time. I mean, some of them are kind of common sensey. If you actually did look through the player packet, your question is probably gonna be answered. I think there's only been a few times where I was actually kind of stumped and I had to say, I don't know, I didn't think of that. But somebody gets me every year with something that we and add on to the end of the player packet because we didn't think about it, and like, okay, that's a scenario we did not account for, and thank you, great. But I think people are trying to make it a mission now to stump us on rules. I don't know. What can they
Do you
get
guys
away
think
with?
we have like the most comprehensive player packet out there or something?
God,
We're not MSW.
Oh no, I mean, yes. So some of the tax ops I've read out there are like, okay, you're preparing for everything, and that's great. From a guy from my chair, I love it that that they are that ready for anything that could happen. But they're also taking the risk that they're expecting everybody to read it, and sadly, we know that that's not the case. Not everybody reads the rules, so which is also why we have that quick reference in the beginning of it. If you feel you can't be bothered to read an 8-page PDF, okay, fine.
By the way, most of them are bulleted. Like 90% of this paperwork is a bulleted reference sheet. It's not like paragraphs.
Oh yeah. No, it's pretty comprehensive, but it's still not. It's not tough. But yeah, everything you need to know is in the first few pages. You've got your map, you've got your schedule, and you've got your required gear, you've got your recommended gear, and your basic airsoft rules. What it doesn't cover, obviously, is what I think we should talk about next, is respawning. We're all bad blood vets. We understand how the mobile triage works. And I think at times maybe we kind of expect everybody else to, because we know it, we get it. But in a nutshell, the mobile triage is a relatively unique mechanism of not having one static place for your team to have to come back to the game, because bad blood is a 100% game of movement. You're going to be going from field to field to field to corner all day long. That's the whole point. Like I like to say, it's a gigantic timed scavenger hunt. That's really the crux of it. We make it this bigger event, and we throw, lore at you, and we throw all kinds of, fun, sidey, missiony stuff at you during the day. But in essence, it's a scavenger hunt. You're there to collect as many samples of, the stamps as you can. That's the whole point. So to facilitate that, we have every team has embedded referees on the team who play for that team, but their job is actually to be referees and to manage how hit players re-enter the game. So when a player gets hit, because let's be honest, it's not one player gets hit, it's 50 get hit, and everybody starts to fall back, right? So when people start to get hit and then, they take on casualties, the who's ever running the triage that moment is going to corral everybody, move everybody about 50 to 100 feet behind that front line that is moving, because in a perfect world, that front line is still moving. You're taking ground. You're trying to push towards your next objective. So to keep you from getting too far away from your team, we have this triage that every 10 minutes will respawn, and your players will come back as, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Fresh troops, reinforcements, right? So you've had your 10 minutes to relax, get some water, maybe look at your map, figure out where the heck you are if it's your first, second time at the field, because, everybody gets lost. Don't get me wrong. And then, you come back and you fight it out again, and you get hit again, and you move back and back and back. So now, Mark and AWOL, have either one of you ever embedded before, or just been COs?
Just CO.
All right.
I was supposed to be an embed 2 years ago and got a battlefield promotion.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So you never actually had to man a triage. What about you, AWOL? You ever had to man a triage?
I was triage once, yeah.
Yeah, it's not so fun. Why are comments off? Why are comments off? All right.
I'm not seeing a chat when I try to open up the YouTube.
Yeah, I just checked it because I wasn't seeing a lot of views, so I was wondering what's going on. So
let me.
you have people in here. People are watching.
So let me check that out. AWOL, what was your experience with triage? Like, how was the easiest way you felt to man it and make sure everybody kind of, understood what it is they were trying to do?
I mean, you're loud about it. I mean, obviously, you get those people that, oh, I'm shot, I'm just going to leisurely walk back. And, I have Chops, who is normally my embed in triage, and he does a fantastic job. And it's, loud about when respawn times are, because obviously, people walking back, hey, that, like, it's a 10-foot ring around the triage, 10-foot to 15-foot ring. It's not this unlimited zone that, you see the triage, you get to respawn. Like, and then I know Chops, me and both discourage it by, shooting teammates is, if you're not dead, you're not with your buddies. And if your buddies are dead, you're not with them. Like, sorry, you're not going to float around the triage, because that just leads to, arguments and fights. And, you're not going to play dead, but you're also not going to sit with the dead. That's a big one that, obviously monitor.
Right. So, did you have any issues with kind of getting people to want to get back out there. Sometimes they're little afraid to rejoin because they just saw what they the meat grinder they just walked into.
I mean, it was, I was loud, and it was, me and Sin, and it was, Sin was loud, and I would, hey, loud, and point him that way. Go to him. And, people would normally, obviously there were, memorable guys that, obviously there was a guy with an RPK that, a full wood, heavy RPK that, he walking back and forth, and he was hating it. But, we made a game out of it, and he was still even having a blast, walking back and forth. So.
Great. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. Also, I mean, yeah, when I first started with Bad Blood in 2013 was my first game. I was an embed for the Marxists. And that was, even back then, that was still the smallest team. And it was, the easiest way to learn everything about the game was to have to make sure everybody else is following the rules. And that's actually the big thing about being an embed is that is really your job is as a rules keeper, because when anything happens, because we all know something's going to happen, tempers are going to flare, whoever knows, and it's their job to actually break out of the game, basically, stop being a participant and go and actually control this situation to make sure that everybody is following the rules of the game and not kind of discouraging it for anybody else. So that's what I've always liked about that game model. And we use it pretty much for everything that NYC Airsoft has ever done. So it just seems to work and people get it. But yeah, the mobile triage is what makes Bad Blood unique, I think. You guys remember last year where we tried to go to the static spawns and the capturing of spawn points, and on paper it looks great, but for whatever reason it just we could not make it work, and we had that powwow and decided, let's just go to the mobile respawn. Everybody knows how it works, and those who don't know how it works will learn real fast and made the rest of the day go real smooth. I know, AWOL, you were part of that whole conversation. And, what did you think? Think that was the way we should have gone the whole time?
With the mobile triage, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the difficulties. I mean, with the flags and everything, it's great on paper, but obviously it's very daunting. Somebody would take a point over, and you're moving. You're a whole group of guys that just got shot or trying to move there, and hey, oh no, that's not your spawn anymore. So it was I definitely had to move in the right direction. Putting the mobile triage back in. Good.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to do it. So it's just it works. Yeah, I'm a little flustered now trying to figure out what's going on with the chat, but we'll fix it for the next one. Yeah, the mobile triage is the easiest way to go, I think. Is there any other, as guys who are out there leading the people all over the field, are there any rules that you feel are the most important things that we haven't covered, iPro, water, things like that, that you really want to stress to all the players? If you're going to do anything, this is the one thing you have to follow.
I will say it till I'm blue in the face, and I know it already got mentioned, but hydrate. You're not going to have fun if you pass out. And I know Airsoft, it's a fashion show. You want to look tactical, but do it in moderation. You don't need real plates. You don't need dummy plates. The best thing, ice plates, honestly.
That are the vent plates that are starting to come out from 3D print shops.
Yeah, the hexagon vent plates.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fashion show to an extent. Like, you're not going to have fun if you pass out. And you're not going to have fun if you have to sit down for 15 minutes or 20 minutes because your buddy passed out. So, battle buddy, make sure he hydrates and, wait within moderation.
Yep, sounds about right.
What about you, Mark? Oh, go for it, Mark.
I don't know if it's necessarily a rule, but let's just remember we're out there to have fun. I mean, everybody's a little bit competitive. That's for certain, but don't get too wrapped up in it. We're out there to raise some money. We're out there to have a great time. We're out there to enjoy our company. Don't get so wrapped up in things that you get angry and you want to start a conflict with somebody or stomping around or stomping off the field. This is supposed to be a fun event, a good time, a great chance to get together, at least once a year. It's great to see everybody. Just be out there to enjoy it, not to try to win.
Agreed. Buck?
Be respectful of the field, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Be very respectful of the field. This is a field that has been around for a long time, longer than some of us have been in airsoft or in paintball. This field's been standing a long time, guys, and it costs money to keep it up and running. And last year we had a couple of instances. I'm not going to get into specifics, but they were mentioned towards the end of the event, and it was pretty disheartening to see some of our community be involved with something so simple as to just police your own trash, take care of your stuff, don't pull on things that shouldn't be pulled on, don't try to, make your own shoot holes, don't try to climb over things that don't look like they should be climbed over, don't be in places that are destroyed.
Stay out of the ravine.
Oh my God, stay out of that.
For your own good.
If I ever have to go back in that ravine, it will be too soon.
Yeah. I don't have a graphic of the map. Actually, let me see if I can add it real fast. But yeah, it feels like the map. Here comes trouble. Let him in and we'll talk about it. It feels like the map is getting smaller.
There he is.
I just kicked him out. Oops. Too many clickies. Clicky. Come on. There we go.
Hello.
It feels like the map is getting smaller and smaller. We're cutting out more and more areas. But really that's for your safety. Like, we've picked these areas we don't want you going in because you're not going to get back out. It is not going to be a fun time for you. And yeah.
Unfortunately, we say that with experience. The ravine is a very, very dangerous part of the field, and we've seen some people come out with open fractures to their legs. And for those of you that don't understand what that means the bone was sticking out of the skin. So it's not a fun time. There's high grass that can't get mowed due to the way that it's, geography, topography, all that stuff. It's not fun. Just be safe. Try to stay out of that zone if you're near it. It is not going to get you anywhere that you want to be.
Let's see. Yeah. So if you look here, what is? Oh, I don't have the grids, but basically dead center and to the east there, where you get where the red starts. That's that horrible hill with that single track path that just leads to nowhere. Just don't go. It's just. People are going to be screaming, don't go there, because like Buck just said, we've had to fish people out of there before, and, massive injuries. Once you get down, you're not getting back up. It's horrible. and trying to get, an army of, 250 guys up and down a single track hill without somebody getting hurt, not going to happen. We're going to lose ankles, or somebody's going to go off the cliff like they've done in the past, and I don't want to do that. So
it's a hard fall, guys. It's a very, very hard fall.
Yeah, I mean, look at Nesbitt. That's what happened to him. So
no, literally this past weekend, it's what happened to me.
Put your mic thing in. Try again.
Hello?
You're real low.
I don't know. Hold on.
Try that. Is that better?
Much better.
It's because I put you on the boom mic. Yeah, this is literally the results from M. Sato last weekend. 100%. When they say don't go somewhere, don't go there. It ends bad. I ended up hitting my shoulder and fracturing 3 ribs and giving myself a severe concussion on Saturday.
Okay, how?
I fell off 5 foot and my elbow went forward, my wrist went back, and then I landed on like a big rock and cracked a couple ribs.
Do you just like hurting yourself? Is that what this is?
Yeah, absolutely. I knocked myself completely out. It was beautiful.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to the hospital Monday. I was in trauma because they were like running like brain scans. They had MRIs, CTs, X-ray, everything. They ran full panels on me. It was a good time.
Well, now this is actually interesting because let's see how we can kind of segue this. You fell off of whatever you fell off of, broke yourself in half, and went unconscious.
Yes.
They didn't load you in an ambulance and say bye-bye?
I woke up and said, nah, we have a mission to complete, slung my LMG on my left shoulder, and was hip firing 30 guys and moving on them.
Okay.
It's a bad decision. It's a bad decision.
Yeah. So for the immersion factor,
Cool.
wow. Okay, you did what you felt you had to do. Great. This is bad blood. Don't be him.
This is not MSATO is where you go gungs ho. Bad blood is to have fun. We're raising money for a good cause, and it's a good time with good friends. If you get hurt, do not keep going, please. Please, I can tell you firsthand, it is the worst mistake you can make. Because now I can't play Airsoft for the next 3 weeks.
You're lucky you can eat for the next 3 weeks.
There was a few things that came up on the scans that I wasn't very happy about. So yes, you're absolutely right. I am very lucky. That
if we have to bring it's bad enough when we have to launch the gator to get somebody off the field, but when we actually have to make a hole for ambulances to get on the field, somebody's having a real bad day. And not only is somebody in serious, medical condition that needs to be treated, and will, the EMTs on site will treat you, and that's great. But like, your day is done. Your buddy you came with, his day is done because he's going to go with you. And it's just don't be like Nesbitt. Just don't do that. Don't take risks that don't need to be taken. I mean, play the game. Don't get me wrong. If you're aggressive, be aggressive. That's awesome. But don't do things that
Could
that
cause
looks sketchy.
permanent physical damage.
Yeah.
In fairness, I tripped over a rock and fell not much. It was enough. It wasn't so much the fall, it's how I fell. That really, really got me. And then
You smacked your face.
Well, and then I had another incident where I tripped over the train tracks and launched myself into a ravine. That was fun.
Okay, see, this is what scares me the most about venue games. Like when the actual AO is the draw to the game, that's what scares me, because these places were not designed for airsoft and paintball.
I'll tell you what,
Things happen there that can't be accounted for, like can't be planned for, railroad tracks. Like, I mean, I get it. It's a real world AO, and that's awesome. Those things are so much fun, but like, they scare me. They really do.
Could you imagine if they had one of those fucking like teeter-totter carts that you could push back and forth to
That would've
get
been
quickly
so cool.
from one end to the other? I know that's like completely side tangent and stupid as hell, but like you got to think about that. Like 3 or 4 airsofters getting on that thing, just 2 of them.
Wow. See, man, now I'm gonna have to think about this, and that sounds fun. But
I am the reason for OSHA.
but yeah,
I just
now,
did my OSHA last week.
the easiest way to segue this, because I'm glad you're okay.
Yep.
I will preface that. Good for you. If and when somebody gets hurt out there on the field, the thing that drives me batty, I get it. Everyone is trying to play it safe. The thing that drives me absolutely up a wall is just people getting on the radio and just screaming ceasefire. Okay, one, please don't do that. Report the injury, report the sickness, whatever happened, to your embed or to your CO. Let them make the call on what to do. Because if it's a rolled ankle, yeah, that sucks. You're hurting. You're out.
We'll help you limp off.
Right. We're gonna take you aside, make sure you're safe.
Maybe wrap your foot.
Yeah, treat whatever needs to get treated. If you broke something, God forbid, we'll get the gator out. We'll get you off the field. Is that really something we need to stop the game for? No,
Not at all.
it's not. Maybe an area needs to be kind of secured, because if people are trying to, treat somebody who's lying on their back, EMTs don't want to be dodging BBs. Don't be doing that. So maybe we'll, kind of the embeds will push people to the side, say, hey, go over there. We'll take care of this guy. We'll bring him to you if he can continue. But like, don't just get on the radio and just start yelling ceasefire, ceasefire, because nobody knows what's going on. Talk to your COs, talk to your embeds, because that's their job. They will look at the situation and decide what they feel is best for the game to do. It's not about winning. It's not about, oh, but we're right on top of our objective. Okay, but your guy's hurt. Figure out how you want to proceed now, and then continue on with your objective. That I feel that's the most important thing. Now, that's also why everyone has to have an FRS, GMRS radio. It's not because we want to hear who needs pizza or, can you go get me something from the hot dog cart. I don't want to hear your chatter. It's about the instructions coming down from me or AWOL or Mark or Nesbitt to tell you what needs to be done to stay safe and continue on with the objective you're going after. Am I wrong?
Not in the least.
All right, good, because that's the thing. That's the one thing, and that's one of the questions I always get every year: is do we have to have a radio? Well, it's in the book, so yes. It doesn't have to be, a big fancy brick of death that Buck and I carry. It just needs to be an FRS radio, programmable or not. Channels work just fine, so you can listen in to. There you go. That's perfectly fine radio. Nothing wrong with that. But even a little Motorola Talkabout, they still exist and they still work. It's fine. So you can hear what's going on around you, and if you need assistance, or you're lost, or whatever, quick little shout, hey, whatever message is, insert message here, and then you get off the radio and you listen. That's the whole point. It's not to have these conversations back and forth. And turn off Vox. Oh my God, turn off Vox.
Gotta go, guys.
All right, thanks. Good luck.
I also want to mention, if you don't know the site, have a map, because it's more obnoxious when you get on the radio and you go, where's Green Team? And I give out, hey, we're at, oil pipeline B7. And, oh, where is that? Like, it's there's on the map. I gave you coordinates.
Can I segue that?
I repeat it twice, clear as day.
So it's a good thing you make a point of that. I'm not sponsored in this at all, but I've noticed it the last few years. Every year that Jack Tack has come out, they have their dead rags that they sell for Bad Blood that has the map on the backside, and all of that money is going towards the charity as well.
Yeah,
and they're like, what? They were like $5-10 for a really decent. I still have like the last couple of years really decent dead rag maps.
Yeah,
so if you don't have one,
sponsored.
not sponsored.
But yeah, you're right. They were actually they're very high quality. They were good dead rags, and yeah, they had the perfect copy of the map on it. So,
and it was properly gridded. So
yeah. Oh, I work hard on those maps. I'm a map guy. I like doing maps. So, but which is why you see that this year's I'm actually breaking it down even more. I got the quarters here, because we're gonna have multiple red shirt referees out there. So we're all going to be manning different quadrants to make sure we can get to any situation quickly. And, I'm not the only guy who's running from staging area because I had to go do whatever to the far northeast corner. Like, okay, I'll be there in half an hour because I'm by myself. I got to walk and I'm old. So, but yeah, it's not a huge field, but that being said, it's also not little by any stretch of the imagination. there's still lots and lots of terrain out there that you're going to be covering. And having just a basic idea of where you are only benefits everybody. I'm not saying you need to learn land nav and carry a compass and, learn how to do proper coordinates and shit like that. A7, B5, and okay, I'm roughly here. I got to go that way about 300 feet. Oh, hey, look, there they are, because you've got an army of 250 guys you're trying to find. It's not hard. I don't get it. Why do people get lost? So
I will also say radio etiquette. I know last event, I don't know who James is, but I don't know where he's at. I really don't care at that point. After the 12th time of, James, where are you at?
yeah, I always call that guy Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Well, okay. I don't think well, you might have been, but I don't think any of you were at the next to last Bad Blood we did at our previous site. So I want to say 2015, maybe 2016. And Moondog, in all his wisdom, decided it would be a great idea to pause the game about 2.5 hours in, have everybody come in, and we served 1,000 people pizza. So for the first 2 hours of the game, all I heard was Billy and his friend on the radio talking about, well, when's the pizza? Do you think the pizza's here yet? Let's go get the pizza. It's like, I'm going to find you and I'm going to throttle you.
Damn it,
all
Billy.
I heard. Just Billy and his friend. Just all they wanted was pizza. And you know what? I love pizza. I had pizza for dinner tonight. But shut up. That's not what the radio's for. So, but the Vox thing. Back to the Vox thing. Especially you guys who love to run the headsets, right? If you've got Vox turned on and you've got a microphone, guess what we hear? Because all we hear is your gearbox, because every time you pull the trigger, your microphone goes off. Turn it off. It's not hard. I don't know. I could harp on radio etiquette all day long too. So.
Oh, that would be like a multi-part series.
Oh yeah, easily. So, but I mean, it's in the player packet. You need an FRS radio. Actually, FRS only does 14 channels, right? So you need an FRS GMRS radio, because I think one of the teams is in a higher frequency. I forget. But anyway, anything you can get at a sporting goods store, hunting store, Walmart, they're fine. If you want to get a Chinese programmable radio, they're great too.
The UV5Rs are like $9.
Are they've even gone further down?
Oh yeah, they're like $9 on Amazon. I contemplated buying the 6-pack just so I had backups for people that like lost their radio, forgot their radio, just where we had them.
Yeah, I mean, like, safe. I say Buck and I are radio nerds, and when I tell people, no lie, I have over a dozen UV5Rs, because I use them for all kinds of different applications. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple UV82s that can do dual PTT, and I got a couple of the new ones, the 10-pound brick things that just, ooh, I'm gonna drop that on my foot one of these days, and it's not gonna be fun. The radio's gonna survive.
You gotta get one of them Vietnam backpack radios.
I have 3 of them.
Well, there we go.
that's what my 5Rs are in. I actually have them, modded out to use regular GMRS in a Vietnam backpack radio.
So what I'm hearing is you're an RTO. Got you.
I have enough different Vietnam kits that I could be a one-man recon team. So I can do whatever needs to get done during a Vietnam game. But again, we're not going to go that far. But yeah, I mean, I think we covered it really. Unless you guys think there's something that we have to really drill home.
I do have a question, because one of the guys that's watching the stream called me while I was on my way back from Passover dinner, and I guess you guys made mention of riflemen who people who have rifles that go into full auto are considered riflemen.
Right.
Are we allowing full auto for riflemen or no?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay. That was the clarification.
Right. What I meant was we don't recognize the class of rifle DMR.
Okay.
So there's going to be no AEGs / HPAs that get treated like a sniper rifle. No, because we can't have anybody out there who could flip to full auto and
be at a higher velocity.
is at 280 joules or 2.8 joules. 280 would be dead.
Jesus Christ.
So anything that isn't a bolt action single rack pull, single trigger pull, it's got to be 1.55 joules with our BBs.
I do have a follow-up question.
Oh, of course.
As far as the LMG rule, it has to be a NATO accepted support weapon, correct?
No, don't care. We remember we don't. This game does not have any kind of rifle class. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked, so we're allowing full auto, so I guess it doesn't matter. There's a lot of events that it has to be NATO recognized, but the caveat is they don't accept the M27 IAR as a squad automatic weapon, even though it is. So, but if we're allowing full auto, they blame it last.
Yeah. Like I mean, we're not doing the immersion to the point where if you're Green's Army, you can only run NATO weapons, and if you're back before we merged into Black and Tan, if you're a Marxist, you had to use Soviet block weapons. We wouldn't.
Cool. I would love to get my hands on a Soviet
team
block
did
weapon.
that. You know what I mean? Like we came out there in full Soviet Afghan uniforms with nothing but AKs and RPKs. And people hated us because we shot our own teammates. But there's no weapons classes other than non-sniper rifles have to be in the lower register. Sniper rifles can be in the high register. That's it.
Roger that. That's pretty straightforward. I like that.
I will say I'm going to play my favorite video clip. The most important rule of Bad Blood, of course.
Why are you dehydrated? Because not sir. I'll tell you why. Because you're not filling the goddamn water.
My favorite clip. I have to play it. So, yeah. So hydrate. Make sure you're not doing anything dumb like falling off of whatever Nesbitt fell off of.
Nothing. I didn't fall off of anything. I tripped and fell over.
Well, okay. There are the flagstone walls all over the place in EMR.
Mm-hmm.
Watch your footing. Don't.
I learned a valuable lesson.
They're not solid.
Every now and then look down. Every now and then you just gotta look down a little bit.
Sometimes I really wonder why I do this.
Hey, you know what? I'm eventually gonna have to find the day. One day in my life, it's gonna come to the point where I have to end another chapter of my life, and that will be Airsoft. It's not going to be anytime soon. And I will continue until that day comes. I will continue to fall. I will continue to hurt myself. And I will continue to break things. I've come to terms with that. And I'm learning very quickly, and as I'm getting older, that I need to take those injuries a little more seriously. So, if nothing else, I learned a valuable lesson. It's not going to stop me, but we're going to keep going at it.
You know what? That's fair. You know your limitations, and that's okay. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
So, all right, final thoughts. AWOL, you got anything before we talk about our next show?
Hydrate. Start now.
All right. Mark?
Hydrate and get in shape.
Nesbitt?
If you're going to have a gut, wear it well.
Yeah,
You already learned.
I like that. All right, so our next live stream will be in 2 weeks from today, so April 16th. I forget what we're going to be talking about. I'll tell you right now. It's going to be introducing the tribal leadership and the roles of the tribals. That's going to be a fun one. Starting that week, we're also going to be starting a giveaways for the rest of the season. I've got some pretty cool EVIC SHOT Show exclusive stuff that I picked up for us this year. So 2 weeks I'll be explaining how to enter into the giveaways and win yourself some patches that you can't buy from EVIC. It'll be be a lot of fun. So, with that being said, I'm Ian. These are my friends, and this is Bad Blood.